I built this StrsHollow island a couple months ago, and I wanted to go over some of the Easter eggs and some of the inspiration I had for a lot of the main areas I had on the island. Every house is decorated, but as I'm now visiting a dream address, it's not going to be possible to visit all of them again. So, starting with our town square, right here we have the Doggy Swami from after Lorelai got Paul Anka and they had a little booth. This is my Lorelai. Some of the things I have are just like filler areas like this. This is nothing, but it's a good little eye catcher. I put a guitar in right here for the town troubadour. I have a lot of little eggs hidden around for the time that Kirk lost the Easter eggs and it stunk up the town. There are also a few cameras because they are in a TV show. Over here is the pond, and this is the picnic that Rory and Jess have after Jess bids on her. Moving over here, this is Lorelai's house. This is Bob, which is my Kirk in the show. Here's another camera. I have the pond that Luke teaches Lorelai to fish in. I have the, oh God, what is it called? The huppah that Luke made for Lorelai's wedding that never happened. I also couldn't make a garage, but I did try to have Luke's boat in like the garage space. And then in we have the Gilmore house. I will say I did quite a few of these areas from memory. However, I did use some of these pictures to create the space. It's funny coming back in here and looking at how many things I put down here. I have lots of coffee hidden around. There's going to be probably a coffee cup in almost every room on this island. This is supposed to be their back door. You come over here. This is their little living room. Unfortunately, I didn't know how to make a staircase upward, but this is the pictures I used, or these are the pictures I used for this room. This is what the room looks like. When I was originally making this island, and I was trying to figure out like what this theme is, other than it being StrsHollow, obviously. Someone said it's New England cluttercore, which I thought was like a very accurate description of the theme. I think Rory's room is probably the best one I made of the Gilmore house, or of Lorelai's house, rather. And here are some of the images I used for her room. And this is the room in general. Again, I think this is one of the best rooms I did in the house. I did try to fit in quite a few Easter eggs. Although that being said, like not all of them really hit. There's another coffee cup. And then this is band practice for when Lane was using Lorelai's garage. And I just kind of put in a few other items. And then coming upstairs is Lorelai's room. This is after the remodel, but I have a bunch of alarm clocks for one of the like intros to one of the episodes was Lorelai surrounded by a bunch of alarm clocks because she needed to get up in the morning or something, and Rory set up a bunch for her. There's another coffee cup, and then her little larger bathroom that, if I recall, Rory has a breakdown in the final season. And then here is Babette's little garden gnome. Putting down. The flag of Connecticut there. Here is Luke's. I don't have too many Easter eggs for Luke's. And really, we don't need to even visit all the rooms because you don't actually see a lot of the spaces in Luke's diner. But here are some of the images I used for building the diner. And then here is what the diner looks like. I obviously blocked off some rooms. I tried to, again, just kind of really clutter it up. You know, we have the old-timey cash register. I have some donuts on the counter, obviously a coffee machine. And this is supposed to be like his wall phone. And then upstairs is his apartment. This is also one of the better builds that I did, I think. Here are some of the images I used for Luke's. And then the apartment as a whole. His apartment in the show obviously kind of like curves above the diner, but in Animal Crossing it's just kind of a straight room. So here's the kitchen with the windows that look out towards the square. This is supposed to be the air mattress that Jess sleeps on. And if you want to explore this island for yourself, I can give you the dream address in the description down below. Here is, wow, I'm spacing out, Miss Patty's, where the town meetings happen. And obviously the camera pointing at the front. I have another, this is Beardo, which is my tailored. I think he fits perfectly. I have another little StrsHollow sign here if you're visiting my plane. Oh, there's Luke over there in the background. Let's just go take a look so everyone can kind of see what my villagers look like. And there's Rory. And I should have an Emily around here somewhere. For now, let's go explore the Gilmore house. It's actually perfect because my Richard is also home, so we can see what I did as the pool house first. This one was a little bit tougher because I wanted to make it like Richard's pool house rather than when Rory moved in. But there weren't too many images for it. There's just the one when they were trying to sneak in when Emily and Richard were having their marital issues. And then this is the Gilmore house. Obviously, where they had Sunday dinner, super large table. Here are the images I used for this room. And you can kind of see that back wall, just a really large kind of banquet hall. I am really impressed with how, I mean, I made it, so I guess I'm impressed with myself, but how it feels like a rather large space for Animal Crossing. And then over here, we have their little sitting room, living room, and obviously the images I used for this one. This one was a fun one to make. You know, there's windows that look out towards their little back garden where the DAR meetings happen. That's supposed to be the big portrait that Emily gets of Richard way later in the show. Maybe it even isn't a year in the life. Those are my two favorite rooms in this house. But I did also do a kitchen, which I kind of just, I know that there were images for it, but the way that it was set up, I kind of just winged this one. And then in the back, I have Richard's study. And again, there were images for this one. This is supposed to be like the picture of Rory on his wall. We have a little typewriter, but I mostly just did this one from memory as well and tried to fit it with like things that he would have. You know, there's a little fax machine, a little golf bag, the picture of Rory. Hello, Kirk. And I tried to fit in... Oh, I should show off the backyard. I did try to fit in as many Easter eggs as I could, or that I remembered. Here's their little backyard. Tee out for the DAR. Little flower beds. And then their little garden wall. As we move along, this is Yale. At first, I was going to do Chilton, but I felt that Yale was a little bit better. And I think that this is probably one of my best builds as well. Here's a little coffee cart that Rory would get coffee at. I always space out on the name of the dog that they like visited during game day, but this is supposed to be that dog. And then here's the Yale Daily News office. Bree Paris as editor. And here's the picture for that. And this is also how you can get to the secret beach. And obviously I use the museum as like the buildings. If we walk into the forest here, you may recognize this from the Life and Death Brigade party that Rory visits initially. I jump, you jump. And if we run along here, we have a little busted car because of the deer that hit it. And along this is where Rory did her community service. I have Kim's Antiques. And all of these houses are decorated. But I really only want to show you the Easter eggs. If you want to visit the house or the houses yourself, the island yourself, again, the dream address will be below. And this is probably one of my favorite parts of the island. Here's my Emily. This is the Dragonfly Inn. And I think that this is far and away the best build I've ever done. And I'll show you the pictures that I used for all of the spaces as well. First, let's start in with the check-in desk. If you're going to check into the Dragonfly, this is the space. Again, super cluttered. You have the phone, the computer, the check-in desk, a place to sit and read. And while I did use pictures for reference, I also, this is one of my favorite shows ever. So I do have a pretty good memory of all the spaces. This is kind of their little sitting room that's off to the right of the stairs. Again, as you just saw me slide through, I made it very cluttered. So it feels full. It feels lived in, or like guests are here. In the back is Suki's kitchen. And here are the images I used for this. And then the kitchen itself. We have the little back pantry here, the back door. Fresh vegetables from Jackson, some things cooking, a little dishwasher, another fridge. This is supposed to be like a glass storage fridge, but there really wasn't anything that fit what I needed. This is their little dining room. I made it brighter, and then there's, the windows that look out. The way that it is connected, the kitchen would actually be like this direction, but Animal Crossing houses don't have that, so we have to make do. This is also like a little stage reading area, but I kind of made it just a little sitting area and then like kind of a breakfast buffet area. Again, like one of the things I like about this island as a whole when I was building it is that you can really just kind of mix and match decorations and it'll almost feel like it works correctly. This is supposed to be a picture of Lorelai, Suki, and Michelle. But like a lot of these things don't feel like they necessarily fit, but for this island in particular, it works really well. You don't see too many views of the rooms at the Dragonfly. So this is the only photo I had to work with. And I kind of just inferred the rest myself. There's one other time when like Lorelai needs to change some sheets or something, and you get a view of like the door that's right here and then the bed. But that wasn't like super helpful for me. So I kind of just created this space. There's just like I was trying to create more of what I would think a Dragonfly room would look like based on what I've already seen. Thanks for watching, and if you enjoyed, leave a like, leave a follow. If you want to check out the island, here's the dream address. Thank you so much.